So one of the reasons that I wish I was with you is that one thing that I've learned is that there is no such thing as an unspecial person. And so I know, because I'm 55 now, I know that if I found out a little more about Atia, for example, or Tristan, the more I began to find out about them, the more I would become amazed. At the moment, you look like a bunch of people with masks on, most of you in the distance. So it's hard to feel that right now. But I've just had the experience too many times of going near what looks like just a room full of folk, and within a little bit of time and getting a sense of who they are, I begin to become amazed. And I don't flatter people. I'm not interested in being nice to people. I'm just being honest with you. It's happened. So it just happens all the time in my work. The nearer I get to the genuine heart of a person, the more I'm like, wow, if you want to understand people, you've got to stand under them.
What does that mean?
It means the opposite of what the human heart normally does, which is, so I'll walk in a room full of people, everybody's on their computers, and I'll walk in and think, wow, what a dull, boring group of people this must be, because I'm standing above them. I'm physically above them. I've just walked in the room. They're sitting down and think, wow, this looks dull. And so you see nothing from above. If you look at a human from a superior standpoint, you'll see nothing. But as soon as you sit down, sometimes in the prison, I physically get on the floor, I kneel down, and so I would be sitting in the middle of your room. It just happens naturally. And because some of the very shy, I physically go below them. And I might walk over and just kneel down and just say, you look exhausted, what's been happening or something. And as I begin to go low in my heart and physically, then I start to become amazed, and they start to tell me who they really are. If you want people to open up and become three-dimensional, they have to feel honored, and they have to feel that you are there for them and you're genuinely interested. And if you are, you will have an extraordinary experience, because, yeah, you'll realize that everyone is special. I remember, when you're casting actors, I'm sure some of you have done this. Do you know that even the professionals come in, they're really scared. Inside, they're scared. Wouldn't you be? You walk into a room and there's 4 people there with clipboards, and it's almost like they get a stick and poke you and say, read our script and make it good. And you're like, wow. It's a bit like somebody poking you with a stick and saying, come on, tell us your best joke. Come on, make us laugh. Nothing would happen. And so again, these people need to sense you're genuinely interested in them. And as that begins to happen naturally, if you allow it and make time, suddenly, instead of being two-dimensional with these are the films they've been in, suddenly they're three-dimensional, they're relaxed, and their body language, I'll actually notice when people's body language changes, suddenly, little nuances in the way they move their eyes and their hands. And at that point, I know I'm now encountering the real person.
Yeah, I have a question. So I've done like interviews for print where there's like no cameras there. And then I've done interviews where the person is like on camera and mic'd and all that stuff. And I found that like when somebody's on camera, that sort of creates like a natural barrier for them to like open up. Like they feel very awkward. They feel very like on the spot. So how do you sort of like break down that barrier and get them to open up with all this like camera equipment there?
I just keep breaking that screen. I just keep hitting it with metaphorical things. So for example, I try to never pretend or put on I try not to use manipulation of any kind, even, hey, cheer up, fellow, or smile, or I try not to do that. I just think, I say, how do you feel about having all this stuff pointed at you? And they say, I feel really scared. And I'm like, wow, that's normal. That's totally normal. So you'll probably feel scared for a good few minutes, like 10 or 15 minutes. You'll probably feel a bit this and a bit that. But do you know what? After a while, it'll go. So let's just chat for 15 minutes. And all I do then is something will catch my eye and I'll be like, wow, I love those shoes. Where do you get trainers like that? I've been looking for some colorful trainers. And they start telling me about the trainers. And again, I try not to be manipulative. I pick things I'm genuinely interested in. And they say, the trainer's this, the trainer's that. And I'm like, wow, so you runner or? No, I'm not a runner, but I love colorful things. And okay, wow, that's good. Wow. So, oh, I like your watch as well. Looks like you've changed the strap. They said, yeah, I bought the, wow, you're really into color, aren't you? Wow, do you get a chance to use color in your work? And suddenly, they say, no, in my work, I have to be. Wow, what is it about your work then that's not colorful? It's this, it's that. And suddenly, you're kind of on the trail you wanted to be, but you never went, right, can we stop the fun chat now? Now, let me get my questions out. Number one, yeah? So I think because I've been doing it a long time, I trust that the ship is going to gradually come on point. It's going to come on the compass point I need it to be. So I kind of trust it's going to work its way there. And I wait. I'd rather wait 10 or 15 minutes to get to the gist of what I'm doing than have to sit with an editor in an edit suite for 4 hours trying to piece together a slightly bad wooden interview.